Raping. Why are we never getting mad at that man? Hello everybody. I think I got a sunburn. So today is day one of this trial and it was interesting. It was just jury selection, so nothing really happened, and I did not meet Johnny Depp because he went in through the back entrance and I didn't run into him or anything. So yeah, today's been weird. But tomorrow is the first official start of the trial. They're gonna start doing testimony and stuff, so I'm gonna get up really early. I am so tired right now. It's 9:30 and I want to go to bed, which is rare. I'm gonna get up super early tomorrow and go to the court. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get into the courtroom that is like the actual courtroom and not the spillover courtroom. In which case, if I do end up getting in the actual courtroom, I've never seen Johnny Depp in real life before. Today we were in the same building together, on the same floor, but I've never seen him in real life before. So if anybody would like any commentary afterwards, comments, my thoughts on anything, do not ask for thoughts. My thoughts will be, my brain is empty. There will be no thoughts. Because the whole time I'm going to be sitting there going, ah! So that's going to be my day tomorrow, if that happens. If it doesn't happen, it's going to happen at some point. So this is crazy. Also, I got like 300 Twitter followers today alone, which is really weird. Like, I've never gotten that many followers at once before. Like, I went from having like 1,800 followers when I woke up this morning to having 1,100 followers now. I don't know what's going on. But this is really weird. It's crazy. I'm having a good time. A lot of anxiety. But there should be some anxiety. It's an anxious time. Also, I really don't know. I walked in DC for like a little bit and I got a fucking sunburn. How? Today was just... I have not processed what just happened at all. I'm so tired. I took a lot of anxiety medication today because I was like, I'm not about having a full-on mental breakdown. I think once that wears off completely, I will just cry. But right now I'm so tired and just my brain cannot even like comprehend what just happened. I got into the courtroom and was in there for all day from 10 to 5 with Johnny Depp. Like, it just didn't even feel real until like one moment because, you know, he's not facing us, so I just, you know, got the back of his head the whole day, which is fine, can't complain, he has nice hair. But at one point he like lifted up his hand and touched the back of his head and I saw his tattoos and I was just like, oh my god, like that's actually him, like that he's really right there, like. And I know like that's not what this is about, and it was a very kind of intense, especially afternoon, but I can't begin to even... How do I continue to exist? How do I do this again tomorrow? How do I like continue to do this every day? I'm so beyond happy. The only reason I'm not crying is because it's just like emotionally my brain just cannot comprehend what the fuck just happened right now. So I'm gonna go eat dinner and go to bed and get up at 6 a.m. again. It's too early. It's finally starting to hit me that I've been sitting in a room with Johnny Depp for 2 days now. It's just starting to hit me. It's the end of day 3, and tomorrow we have Gina and Amber's psychologist and Kate James testifying, so that's gonna be fucking crazy. I don't even know what else to say. I need to eat dinner. I still haven't eaten dinner. I've just been sitting here in the outfit I wore today. Like, I haven't taken my earrings out. I haven't done anything. Because it's just starting to hit, you know? I know it's not a happy event, but I'm so happy. It's so dumb to cry about this, but like, I'm just so happy. End of day 4. Today has been really fucking hard. And, sucked. Today just sucked. And I don't really know what's happening anymore. But I got kicked out of court for no reason. 0 reason. They will not give me a reason. And yeah, they just said, check your social media. And I was like, it's not that on my social media that's problematic in terms of like death threats to people or anything. Like, I've checked and I haven't posted anything illegal. Like, I haven't taken any illegal photos. So I don't know what's going on. I think Eve Barlow's trying to get rid of all the Johnny Depp fans. She is a bitch. She is a horrible person. So my day has been a fucking mess, and I don't really know what's gonna happen now. But even if I'm not allowed to go back in the court, I'm allowed in the building, I'm not allowed in the courtroom. I'm still gonna go there every day, and I'm still gonna, I guess, say hi to Johnny as he comes and goes. Maybe someday I can eventually give him the bracelet I made him, and that will be the best fucking moment and make this all completely worth it. But today fucking sucked. And the worst part is someone decided to tell all the media people about the fact that they kicked me out. So I've got people from like the New York Post and the Daily Mail and all these other idiots messaging me, asking me to give them a statement, tell them what happened, and I'm just like, fuck off. You people are scum. If you're watching this, you people are scum. You are horrible individuals. I was literally like in the cafeteria today crying my eyes out, and this motherfucker comes over and is like, hi, I'm with the Daily Mail. Can you tell us what's going on? Like, we want to write an article about this. And I was like, are you fucking crazy? Like, what is wrong with you? If I was like able to speak in that moment, I would have cursed him out so fucking hard, because who the fuck? I'll see you in the first week. Shit's crazy, but it's gonna be fine. I'm not leaving. Eve, you can kick me out of the courtroom, but that's just gonna make me support Johnny more and hate you more. Fuck you, Eve. Hello, everybody. Apologies in advance. The walls are very thin in this Airbnb that I'm at, so I have to talk kind of quietly, and you might hear a lot of noises in the background. I think it's safe to say this has been the craziest week of my life. The weirdest week of my life. Most emotional week of my life. It's been crazy. So I told myself like over a year ago I'm going to go to Johnny Depp's trial in Virginia. That was just my goal, and that became my major goal in life, basically. As soon as I moved back to New York from London in August, I was like, I need to make as much money as I can so I have enough money to go to Virginia for the whole trial and experience all of it, possibly meet Johnny Depp, support him. That's what I want to do. That's what I did. I ended up getting enough money to come here, and I'm very, very limited in terms of budget, but I've spent all my money to be here, and I'm very excited, and it's been crazy. And no, I've not had very much support from family or friends on this, because they've all just kind of been like, why? Like, you're spending all your money to go to a random town in Virginia for a couple weeks and to like be in the same room as Johnny Depp for some reason. But like, they don't understand that like this means a lot to me. Like, this means the world to me. I have gone through this kind of thing. I have gone through people making things up about me, people trying to make me seem like a bad person, crazy. I've gone through, you know, abusive things before, and so I understand to some degree what he's going through, and I just want to be there to support him. And I don't think that it is really anybody's business why I'm here, but I'm here. And so I just kind of also want to share what it's like to be in that courtroom actually in real life, and to be here experiencing all of it. So I'm going to give you a day-by-day kind of rundown of everything that's happened this week, because it has been crazy. And it increasingly got more and more crazy, to the point where yesterday was one of the weirdest days of my life, and it's continuing to get weirder, and it's not even like, we're not even done with that whole situation, but I'm going to discuss it because I'm sure a lot of people watching this do follow me on Twitter and have kind of been just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know. Starting with Monday, I got to the courthouse at 8 a.m.-ish because it was just jury selection. I didn't even think we could get in to see them do jury selection because I thought it was like protected and private, but we could apparently. We couldn't go into the actual courtroom they were doing it in. We could only sit in the overflow room, which hasn't actually been used yet since then, I don't think, because they've had enough space in the courtroom, which is kind of surprising. I got there at 8 a.m. on Monday, and I stood outside in a group of people, met a bunch of people that were there. Some people were only there for just that day, and we were all standing there in front of the buildings. We were like, maybe Johnny Depp will walk through the front doors and this is gonna be crazy. And every single time one of those, like, I call them celebrity cars, but like those like tinted out black SUVs came driving past, we were all just standing there like, oh. It got very tense and very excited. There was so much media, because the way it is like, you have the court building, we were all standing next to the court building, then there was a road, and then there was like a little grassy area, and all the media had to stay in the grass area, which I thought was very nice, because I was like, I don't want you people coming over here and turning this into like a mob. It's just gonna be dangerous, insane, and not something I'm here for. The sheriffs and everybody there forced all the media to stay in the grassy area, and they just kept taking pictures of us. I was like, I'm not really giving you permission to put me on your newspapers, but they just would stand like up against like the rail of like a fence there, just like with their cameras clicking, and I'm just like, we're just here having a conversation. And then they kept coming over trying to interview us, and then they kept getting told off by the sheriffs that they weren't allowed to bring huge professional cameras over to that side of the road. So then some people went over to the other side to do interviews, but I was like, I don't want to do that. Like that, I'm not about to put something out into the media, have it twisted for them to make me seem like some sort of crazy fangirl. I'm not about that. That's not what this is about. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to support Johnny Depp. I don't want to be in the media. I ended up being in the media anyway because they took a bunch of photos and I ended up being in the newspaper. So that was fun. So by 10 o'clock, which is when jury selection was supposed to start, Johnny Depp still hadn't shown up, and then some guy came over and was like, all right, everybody, he went in through the back. We were just kind of sitting there like, huh? We didn't even know there was a back entrance. I mean, it makes sense that there is one, but we didn't know that. We were just kind of like, well, that sucks. But I didn't even really expect to meet him anyway. So we all ended up going into this overflow courtroom to sit and watch jury selection on TV. It was very, very boring. But it was also kind of funny because they were asked like if they knew anything about this case from like reading it in the media or something. And one guy had to read out text messages with his wife calling Amber a psycho, and Amber was sitting in the room and had to listen to this. It was so funny. We were all like just sitting there dying. But like sitting there in this room watching this on the screen, it was kind of hard to tell who was who because the camera that day was actually not the camera you see on the live stream. It was like a security camera from the back of the room that was just kind of filming the back of everybody's heads, and I was just sitting there, I was like, is that supposed to be Johnny Depp? Because I don't really know what he looks like right now because his hair's always changing. He's blonde currently. His hair is like this color, kind of, but like obviously his roots are a lot darker than mine. So that was just a moment sitting there and like, I guess he's blonde now. Anyway, I left at lunch because I was like, this is really boring. We're not gonna see anybody in person today. Like, this is just kind of like not necessary to be sitting through. So then I hopped on the metro here and went to DC for the first time. I went to DC when I was 3 years old. I've never been back. So it was kind of like experiencing it for the first time because I don't really remember it, and it was a lot more walking than I anticipated. I ended up getting a sunburn and that's now turned into a tan. But it was very strange kind of going to DC for the first time and seeing all these things in real life and just being like, what? So then Tuesday was the first day that we could actually sit in the courtroom with Johnny Depp and see this trial live in person, and it was gonna be crazy. So I got there at 7 a.m. and there was already like a fair amount of people there. I got the wristband, went inside, I sat in the hallway from 7 to 9:30, ate some Cheerios there. Then we all went into the courtroom and there was no one in the courtroom yet. There was a couple lawyers, was several sheriffs, and they all came over and they started telling us the rules and like, you know, you can't take your phone out at all, you can't eat anything, and they said you can't drink anything. I was still drinking water. Apparently we weren't supposed to be drinking water, but I was drinking water the whole time. And eventually the judge, who I guess makes the rules, was like, told us that we could drink water. That was yesterday, but I was drinking water before. Oops, my bad. Anyway, then around like 9:50 this door on the side of the room opens. I was sitting on Johnny Depp's side the first day. Everybody wanted to be on Johnny Depp's side because we were like, we don't want Amber to look like she has supporters. Turns out there were 3 people there who were Amber supporters. I'm not gonna say who they are, but they have like the big Amber Heard Twitter accounts. Well, 2 of them do. One was a child. I think it was one of their kids. I'm not entirely sure why he was there because he slept through the entire thing. And I don't even know why he was allowed to be in there. Like, I feel like there should be an age limit on who can be sitting and watching court trials. So we were all sitting on the Johnny Depp side. So this door on the right side from where we were sitting opens and a bunch of people come out and Amber Heard comes out. And it was just like this like crazy, weird, surreal moment of like, well, that's actually her. It was just very strange. But I wasn't really paying attention to that because I don't really care about her. She's a horrible person. Why would I waste my time being like, oh my god, that's Amber Heard? Like, I don't care. But you could just feel this like anticipation in the room. It's like, okay, Amber walked out. Where's Johnny? And we were all just sitting there just like, oh my god, he's gonna come in here soon. I had actually taken like a bunch of anxiety pills before this because I have really bad anxiety and I get very like overly emotional, and I just didn't want to like deal with me possibly getting sick from excitement and just from anticipation, because that's something that tends to happen to me. And I was like, I'm not dealing with that now. I took a bunch of anxiety pills, so I wasn't like super emotional at this point, but I was still very much like, there was just this energy of anticipation. And then eventually at like, I would say 10:57, this other door on the other side of the room opens and out walks a couple people and then Johnny Depp. And he kind of all looks at us, and it was just like, oh my god. And we all just kind of sat there, and there was like this little gasp, and we just watched him walk in and sit down, and he had his back to us the whole time because we're sitting behind him. That's when I realized that I'm sitting on the wrong side of the room, because I couldn't see him. I'm very short, and there was a bunch of people sitting in front of me because we couldn't sit in the first 2 rows. I was like trying to peer around people the entire time, just kind of like sitting there just going, that's him. That's him. That is him. But I couldn't really see him, so it wasn't really like hitting me because like there were so many people like sitting in front of me. So the judge comes in and the jury comes in, and then they do their opening statements. Johnny's opening statement was very quick, straight to the point, very much just like bang bang bang, this is what happened, this is what she's done, this is how it's impacted him, this is why we are doing this case. Simple, done, whatever. Amber's opening statement, the first guy, still straight to the point, fine. Then Amber's lawyer, Elaine, stands up, walks over to the jury, stands in front of the jury, and gives this like hour-long ramble about every single incident in graphic detail of everything Amber's accusing Johnny of doing. Actually, I don't even think it was everything, but it felt like everything. And everyone behind her was just sitting there just like, oh my god, please shut up, this is so horrible to listen to. I could not see Johnny's face during all of this. After all of this happened during lunch break, I went on Twitter and saw all of these like screenshots from the live stream of his face, and I was like, this is amazing. So then I made the edit of like Johnny's reactions to this, because I was like, this is so funny. He's just sitting there, he thinks this is like just a joke at this point, and he's finding so much humor in it. And I just was like, that is first of all very inspiring, but also like, it's so funny. So we were all just kind of sitting there like also kind of having the same reactions of like, what in God's name are you talking about? I zoned out several times during this whole ramble, so as I was like cutting that video together, I was kind of also watching a lot of it for the first time and just kind of be like, what? So that was the morning. But during the first break, actually, after the lawyer for Johnny, who's like the young woman, I don't know what her name is, she gave his opening statement, and it was very precise and very strong, and I actually ran into her in the bathroom afterwards. And that's when I kind of had this moment of like, well, I guess this is my life now. It's just so weird. And then during Elaine's wonderful ramble about God knows what, there was a moment of me sitting there just kind of ignoring her and zoning out. There's like this moment though, I was like staring at Johnny, and he raised his hand and scratches the back of his head, and I saw like that tattoo he has on his hand, and that's the moment that it finally hit me of like, that's actually him. Like that's actually Johnny Depp. It just like hit me really hard, and I started getting really emotional. Thank God like 5 minutes later we all went on lunch break, because I just like afterwards walked out of there and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? I was just like, I need to hug somebody, like this is crazy. We all got lunch, there's a cafeteria in the courtroom, and then we went back up for the second half of the day, which was the first witness, which was Johnny's younger sister. I got an aisle seat. They said, we're gonna bring in Christy Dombrowski. She walks in the doors, walks right past me because I'm sitting in the aisle seat, goes up on the stand, does her whole thing, and then I kind of realized also from where I was sitting, I could not see the witness box, or the you know, the box that the witnesses sit in to give testimony. So then eventually I just got up and went to the other side. And there was like no one sitting over there, so it was very nice. And then I sat on the other side. I could see Johnny perfectly. I could see Christy perfectly. I could see the podium that they were questioning her at perfectly. Just like the little triangle, perfect. I could see the judge sitting there, Amber's side, but I didn't have to look at Amber anymore. And that was that. And then at one point I remember noticing that Eve Barlow was sitting in the front row, and I was kind of like, why is she here? She's not a part of this. She didn't even know Amber at this point. Why is she on her team? This is very strange. I also remember after one of the breaks, a group of like 3 girls stood up and just started waving at Johnny, and like they got told off for doing that, but like Johnny did actually kind of like stand up and wave back, and I was just like, so the whole questioning half stuff, if you want to watch that, it's on YouTube. But this guy from Amber's team that was like doing the cross-examination was just asking the same question over and over and over. We all just sitting there like, she's answered this question. She doesn't remember this time period. She doesn't know what you're talking about. I could tell she was getting frustrated, everyone was getting frustrated, and Johnny was getting frustrated. And he kept looking at this guy just like, he kept kind of like giving him the face of like, bitch, can you stop? And he was like mouthing stuff at him, and it was so funny. There were only like 3 of us that could see him doing this, and we were just like sitting there like. And then at the very end, when the judge was like, okay, it's 5 o'clock, we gotta go home now, we'll continue this tomorrow, Johnny just glared at this lawyer on Amber's side, and we were just like, oh my god. Like, it's because it was his sister, and he's very defensive of people that he loves. Obviously, he loves his sister. They seem to have a very good, close relationship. You do not mess with his sister. So we were all starting to leave, so then he stood up, and then he turned around, actually, and waved at all of us that were like sitting there. I was just like, are we allowed to wave back? But everyone started waving back, and he like smiled and waved at us and walked out. And I was just sitting there like, what? Like, he knows that he has supporters there. And it was really funny too, because Amber was still in the room when he did that, and I was just like, oh my god, she's probably so mad. I feel like Amber thinks she has more supporters there than she actually does, because at this point it's dwindled down to 1. There is 1 supporter that I know of that is there for Amber, and she thinks everybody sitting on her side of the room is there for her. No, honey. We were sitting on that side of the room because we could see better from that angle. So that was Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we finished up Christy's testimony and stuff. Again, Johnny coming in the room was just, it's always so weird. It's like the door open, he just walks in, everybody just kind of has this collective moment of like, but I found the perfect seat for me in the courthouse that I wanted to sit in. I was like, this is my seat now. This is my seat. I'm sitting here all day. And I did. After Christy, they said, we're gonna bring in a guy named Isaac, and I didn't know who this guy was. He is this guy with a very strong Brooklyn accent. He walks in straight, stands at the front, and the person sitting next to me goes, oh my god, he thinks he's on People's Court. And the person escorting him in was just like, no dude, come over here. You're not gonna swear on the Bible here, you gotta come over here. It was so funny. They swore him in, his response was just like, yeah. It's just like the most casual thing, and everyone just started like giggling because we were like, oh my god, this guy's amazing. And he sits down and gives the most amazing testimony that I've yet to see. He was just like joking around, just kind of, you could feel that he just thought this was so ridiculous, and he was just joking around with the lawyers, and Johnny was sitting there laughing hysterically, and then he got up and like gave him a bro hug during the break. So then we had our little, what they call recess, our little break in the morning. We come back, we do the second half of Isaac's testimony. The lawyer from Amber's side gets up and starts questioning him. I think it was Elaine. At one point though, Isaac just starts getting so emotional. He was asked like, are you angry at Amber? And he was like, you know what, I'm not angry, I'm just so sick of this. You could see, I was like sitting there, I was like, oh my god, is he gonna start crying? Because like, it just like was like almost this moment that you just notice, it just hit him how much this had ruined people's lives. People sitting like in the audience, people were tearing up. because it just kind of hit everybody that this was really emotional. You could tell that Amber's lawyer was standing there just like, I didn't ask this, what do I do? Because it was just like this bomb dropping of like, she really has ruined so many people's lives. I was trying to kind of look and see Amber's face as he was giving this, but I don't really remember what she looked like because I was just so focused on like, that was crazy. So then that afternoon they did a video link with someone who was like a manager at the Eastern Columbia building, and the entire testimony was basically just like, is this video real? Does it seem authentic to you? Who is in this video? What are they doing? And it was just that over and over and over, and it got so boring. But what happened was, during lunch though, somebody, I'm not going to mention who they are, was escorted out by the officers. All of us, because you know we had all formed this like friend group, we were all just like, what, why? Like, she got kicked out and was not allowed to come back, and it was over her social media and over a tweet that she had posted 6 years ago. The only people who would do something like that and go up to an officer and show them that tweet would be the one Amber Heard fan that was in there. We were all just like, they're trying to get us kicked out. So during this afternoon thing, while all of us were like falling asleep during this video deposition, we kind of all left to kind of like comfort her and figure out what she was gonna do. And yeah, so I didn't stay for the whole thing, but apparently the judge told them to like pick up the pace a little bit because this is not gonna go past Memorial Day weekend or May 27th. Wednesday night is when it finally like hit me, because I did the live stream and took a screenshot of Johnny sitting there, and you see me like directly behind him on a diagonal in the background, and it hit me in this moment of like, we're in the same room, like that's me and that's Johnny Depp. This is crazy. That's when it finally hit me emotionally, and I got very emotional about it. So then Thursday, which was yesterday, which was probably one of the most bizarre days of my life, because the morning was fine. We get in, they show Kate James's video deposition, which was significantly more interesting than the previous video deposition. She is a badass, and she immediately during this video deposition, you can tell she is so done with all this and she hates Amber, and she was just like being so petty towards Amber the whole time, and so many of us were just laughing at her responses to some of these questions, how she was like sassing Amber's lawyers, and we were just like, oh my god, she is a queen, she's amazing, we love her, we stan Kate James in this household. That up, and then we had our first break, and that's when all hell broke loose, because I decided I kind of need to use the bathroom. So I got up, took my bag so I can use my phone in the hallway, went outside. That's when the same officers who escorted the girl out the previous day came up to me and were like, excuse me, can we see your ID? And I immediately knew they had been shown something, but I had no idea what it was, because I had actually kind of deleted everything off my Twitter account. I tend to post really stupid shit. I'm from New York. People from New York tend to like kind of say a lot of aggressive stuff when they're angry. I deleted everything that I possibly could off my account that would be seen as aggressive. I haven't posted anything like that in years, so I was just kind of like, what could they possibly have? I had no idea. Immediately I was just like, why? And they were just like, can we see your ID? So I was like, you know what, fine. They were being very official and precise. I take out my wallet, show them my ID, they take a picture of it, and they're like, okay, so you are allowed to come back in this building, but you are not allowed to be in this courtroom for the rest of the duration of this trial. And I was like, why? I just kept asking them why. And they were like, check your social media. And I was like, you can't just tell me to check my social media, because there are 23,000 tweets on my Twitter account. You have to tell me what you're referring to. And they refused. They would not tell me what they were referring to. They would not tell me what it was, which I found to be so fucking stupid, because anybody can Photoshop a tweet and make it look like you posted that. And it was a screenshot. Found out what it was a little bit later on, we'll get to that. Anybody could Photoshop a tweet and just show it to an officer and be like, this person posted that, and get them kicked out. It's so easy to do that. So I was just sitting there like, you need to show me what this is, because you can't just remove me from a public government building for no reason. Like, you have to give me a reason. And they were like, it's your social media, that's the reason. I'm like, that's not a reason. Like, you need to give me a specific, and they would not give me a specific reason. It was 2 officers. I want to make that very clear because we'll get to some stuff later, but it was 2 officers that walked me down. Actually, they kind of said like, we'll have this discussion. Let's go downstairs first. We're not doing it in the middle of this hallway. So I was like, okay. So we take the elevator, we go downstairs, and they lead me out past security and into like this little section. They're like, you can go sit in the cafeteria if you want. You know where that is? And I was like, yeah, I know where that is, but like, you still need to tell me why you're doing this. Like, you can't just escort me out like this for no reason at all. This bitch says to me, this isn't a conversation. And then she walks away. And I was just standing there like, I was so confused. And so I went outside, and there were a couple Johnny Depp supporters out there smoking, and I just full on just started crying. I was like, I don't want to start crying. I don't want to like make a mess of myself right now. And it was the first day I had actually not taken any anxiety medication, because I thought like, I've reached a point now where I'm used to this enough where I'm not going to like throw up from excitement. So I was just like full on sobbing and hysterical, and these 2 people were like, what is going on? And so I told them, and one of them, because a lot of the people there are like full-on adults, there's not anybody who's like super young at these trials. I'm like one of the youngest people. All of them were just sitting there like, this is not okay. Like, I showed them my Twitter. I was like, what on here could possibly do this? And they were looking at this and they were like, there's nothing on here. What is there like evidence of this? So they walk back in, they go up to security, and they're just like, can we speak to your supervisor, because there's something very weird going on here? And security was like, our supervisor isn't in today, he's in tomorrow. And we were like, oh, wonderful. I was still like just hysterical. We went down to the cafeteria. We had to wait like an hour and a half before everybody else came out on lunch. They were all texting me during the break, but they couldn't continue texting me because they went back in the courtroom. They all come down during lunch. I'm just still sitting there crying, and everybody, it was so nice. And this is the first time in my life this has ever happened to me, where everybody just kind of came up and were like supportive, and were like, we're gonna defend you and fight for you because this is wrong. That was very strange. I didn't know how to react to that. And I was still crying, because once I started crying, I can't really stop crying. It was just kind of like stress crying. I wasn't actually that sad, but I looked like a fucking mess because my skin around my face is very sensitive. So when I cry, it tends to get puffy, which is, I looked like a mess. We were all trying to figure out like, what are we gonna do? I obviously couldn't go back in the courtroom. I wasn't planning on it anyway. I looked like a disaster. I didn't really want it. I just wanted to go home. So then they all went back up after lunch. I went into the bathroom there to just kind of lock myself in a stall and cry. Unfortunately, as soon as I went in the bathroom, some lady comes in and says, okay, this bathroom's closed for cleaning. And I was just kind of like, really? I was just like, you know what, fuck this. I went back upstairs. I had stopped crying pretty much at that point, but I still looked like I had been crying. Went up to the front of the security desk, and I said to them, I was just removed from the court of the Johnny Depp trial. I don't know why. Nobody's telling me. I want like someone to contact someone and explain this to me, explain why. So they contacted a guy. The guy comes over. He's like, I don't really know anything about this. I'm going to contact the people that are up there. I'm like, but the people that are up there are not going to give you a reason. So he contacts people up there and just goes, something on your social media page. And I was like, that's exactly what they told me. And I said to him, don't I have the right to know what it was that got kicked out? And he straight up just starts laughing. He's like, no, you don't. Like, this is a government building. We can kick you out, whatever. And I'm like, no, because I know if it's a private business, they have the right to remove whoever they want for no reason. If it's a government building, they can't do that. He thought I was going to start like throwing a scene or being like a fit or something, because he just kept saying like, you can't go back up there today, don't throw a fit, or we're going to have to remove you from this building. I was like, I know, like, I'm not going to start like being hysterical or anything. Like, you know, I want to know the reason. That's all I want to know, because if I don't know the reason, how can I possibly defend myself or explain it? Like, I'm not just gonna go out easily without having some sort of explanation for it. He was just saying that like, it's a court case.
relax, it's a court. I'm like, you have no idea. I was just trying to say, I'm like, I booked a place to stay for 6 weeks. Like, it's not just a court case. Like, this is something major in my life that I've been planning. And he was like, it's just a court case. And he was so insensitive that I was just like, you know what, fuck this. Walked out the door and sat on a bench outside, and then it started thunderstorming. So I was like, I'm gonna go home or back to my Airbnb. So eventually I did. But something I actually forgot to mention though was during lunch, it started to get a little weird, was when this absolute disgusting guy comes up to everybody as we're all like huddled together and everybody's trying to like calm me down and stuff. And this guy comes up and he's like, hi, I'm from the Daily Mail. Can you tell me what's going on? We all looked at him like, are you serious? No, like fuck off. We're like, no, go away. So he went away. But then I got a message that night from somebody. They DM'd my Twitter and be like, hi, I'm from the New York Post. I've heard that Johnny Depp fans have been getting kicked out, and we're wondering like what's going on with that. If you could like tell us. I was like, no, I'm about to go off on this bitch. And I know everybody was like, don't reply, don't say anything, like just ignore it. But I was just like, I want to put on the record, I do not give you permission to write an article about me. And so I said, I do not want to be in this article. I don't want you writing anything about me. This is a private situation. I'm gonna go back and talk to security. This is not your business. I'm a private citizen. You can't be like invading my life, because this is literally, it's not your business. And then I added in at the end, I was like, you people are disgusting, because this is a domestic violence case. Someone has almost died, and you're sitting here pretending like this is some sort of fun, entertaining movie premiere. And I've been saying this about the media the whole time, and I was just like, opportunity to say it to an actual media person? Fine. Fuck off, is basically what I said to them. I also then noticed that she had texted my phone number. I was like, where the fuck did you get my phone number from? Who gave you my number? So then, like an hour later, I get a message from the other girl who had gotten removed, and she kept saying to me like, you know, I don't care, you can post like stuff. And I was like, I locked my account. I was like, I don't want to post anything because this is very weird, and I want to keep this private and on the down low until we figure out the whole situation. And then she messaged me, well, it doesn't really matter now because we've been doxxed. This bitch from the New York Post had written an article where she used our full names, first and last name, twisted this story to make us look like we were some sort of crazed Johnny Depp fans who were violently threatening Amber, who had been removed by this mob of security and barred from entering the building. And that's not at all what happened. But this bitch was sitting in the hallway and had witnessed me getting removed. And I had told her, I don't want you writing this article. So what she did, first of all, is very illegal. Everyone keeps telling me to sue her. I keep saying I don't want to start getting into legal battles with the New York Post. But my biggest concern was like, I'm from New York. I know tons of people that read the New York Post, including family members. If they read this and think of me as like being crazy and being kicked out by security and stuff, like I can't deal with that in my life. So that's what I was most concerned about. Also the fact that having slander articles written about you with your full name, that can like stop you from getting career opportunities, that can like, you know, get you in huge trouble with like jobs and everything. So it was just like horrifying. And I was getting messages from a bunch of people like, you know, don't say anything, don't do anything, like just, you know, block your account and stay offline. I was gonna do that. And then I took a moment and I sat there and I was like, no, I'm gonna say something. Because the thing is, the media thinks they can just say and do whatever they want with whoever they want and face no consequences. I'm gonna say something. So I commented on her little post of her article and I said, I'm the person you wrote the article about. This isn't true. Here's the truth. And I made a little like 4-tweet thread, which ratioed her to the point where everybody because I have been gaining a very weird amount of followers lately, I think because I'm in Virginia and everyone's like, I want to keep up with people who are actually there. So everybody who's been following me and they suddenly knew of the situation that I was trying to keep private. So I was like, I'm going to speak the truth of what actually happened, because, you know, the whole point of this case is about Johnny Depp telling the truth, so I'm gonna tell the truth here too. And all of these people jumped in the comments too, and they all started saying what you're doing is fucked up and wrong, and everybody called her out. I woke up this morning, she had turned off comments on the tweet. I DM'd her, I called back the phone number she had texted me from, left her voicemail because it went straight to voicemail for some fucking reason. I called her several times, and I called my dad and gave my dad her phone number. I showed him the message, and he was like, you need to come home because this is like, these people are like gonna ruin your life. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving, by the way. Even if they never let me back in that courtroom, I can watch the live stream, I can stand outside and wave to Johnny as he goes into court every day and leaves, and I can spend my weekends in DC. I can even spend my days in DC because honestly, like, I don't need to watch everybody's deposition. So last night was kind of wild and crazy, and I was so upset about all this. I was just so panicked and like, we need to get my name out of this article because it's gonna ruin my life kind of mode. You know, I have an anxiety disorder. My brain automatically jumps to worst case scenario. It was very embarrassing, but the one good thing that came out of this was somehow this lady ended up getting access to the tweet that got me kicked out. And it was just this moment of like, oh my god, I can easily defend this. I don't condone what I wrote. I know that it was wrong, but I can explain it, and I will explain it. It was not about Amber. They told the cops that it was a typo and that I was actually talking about Amber, but it says Mr. Heard, and that is addressing Amber's father, David Heard, who in 2019, it was revealed when I posted this tweet, December 2nd, 1st, 2019, something like that. I just turned 20, by the way. I said like I was 19. I was like, oh, 2019, I was 19. I was actually just turned 20, but you know, I've matured a lot since then, okay? I don't post shit like this now. It was a response to a text message that had been leaked from David Heard saying that he was going to shoot Johnny for not giving Amber money, and was like threatening to kill Johnny for not giving Amber money. My response to that was this. And it was dumb, but it's actually something that I used to say to my brother. I used to be a ballet dancer. For those of you who don't know, pointe shoes, the box, like the part your toe goes in, the pointe shoes have to be rock hard in order to like support your foot properly. So if you whack someone with it, it's gonna hurt. So that's something I used to say to my brother, because my brother likes to pretend he's like some sort of aggressive macho guy, and would often say to me like, oh, I'm a baseball pitcher, I could beat you up. And I'm like, yeah, well, I got a drawer full of pointe shoes so I can hit you with them. And that's just something I would say to him as like a joke. It's a joke. It's not meant to be serious. And I can understand, like, yes, that is still not okay to say to somebody, but I would never say that to Amber. I would say that to some sort of tough macho guy. And David Heard, I'm pretty sure, has been arrested for dogfighting, is some sort of tough macho, you know, abusive guy. So I saw that that was a tweet that got me kicked out, and I was like, well, I have my defense, it's not about Amber. So I called the court this morning, actually, and I was like, is the head of security in? Because I just wanted to make sure before I went all the way across Fairfax to the court and just find out he wasn't there. He wasn't. He called out today, so I was like, oh great, I had to sit here the whole weekend and wait. So he's going to be in on Monday, and on Monday I'm gonna go in. And the good thing is, everybody's going to be back because a bunch of people went away for the weekend. And so they're all going to be back on Monday. And we're all going to go in. And we're all going to go to the head of security, tell them the situation. I'm going to explain to them, this tweet's not about Amber. David Heard is not in the room. He's not a part of this case. He might even be in jail still. I don't know. Don't know what he's doing. Don't know what his life is. This tweet was 3 years ago. I would never actually do that to anybody. And I would explain that to security. And they can make the final decision on that. The other reason I'm going to go is because I need to, first of all, find the reporter, because I know she's still there, who wrote this fucking article, and tell her off for it, tell her to remove my name, and if she still refuses, I'm going to go to security and have them tell her. If they refuse, then yes, maybe I will take some fucking legal action, because What is wrong with you? I woke up this morning, I was still very upset about everything and just kind of like, I don't know what to do. I just was like, I just want to lay in bed all day and sleep and do nothing. Then I went on Twitter, and at some point, me replying to the million messages I have on Twitter, because when you gain a weird amount of followers, you suddenly get a lot of comments and a lot of DMs, and it's a lot. And also that edit I posted of Johnny Depp has been getting tons of views on both YouTube and TikTok, so I'm like trying to keep up. I'm like, there's so much going on, I don't know what, it's like overwhelming. I'm not used to attention, so it's very weird. And then at some point, something came up that was like, Johnny Depp's team has filed some sort of motion to get Eve Barlow kicked out of the courtroom. And it was theorized this whole time that Eve Barlow was the one who was getting us removed, because she was sitting there the whole time, all of us noticed this, and just looking at all of us and like looking around at all of us, and she was trying to figure out who we were. I pointed this out the first day. I was like, yeah, I saw Eve sitting in the front row, and she kept looking at all the Johnny Depp fans. I mean, maybe she's surprised we aren't robots because she keeps thinking that we're bots or something. They had this despicable plan to get us kicked out, and I think that's exactly what she did. She went to the officers, because Wednesday, after that first girl got removed, I went out during, recess or whatever, and went to use the bathroom, and she was in this very intense conversation with the same lady who had kicked out both the first girl and me. So I think it was Eve. Disgusting of her to do that, first of all. The other thing she did, though, was she got Johnny's witness from yesterday afternoon, Gina Duders, kicked off too, because she was sitting there the whole time with her laptop, scrolling through social media, trying to dig up dirt to get his witnesses kicked out. That, I think, is her sole purpose there, because Amber doesn't have a case. She is a liar, and it's so obvious, and she's gonna lose this, and I feel like she knows that. So what she's trying to do instead is just get everybody removed. Get all the fans and supporters kicked out, make us seem crazy, make Johnny seem like he's hiring us, and that she's suffering so much abuse for coming forward about this, get his witnesses kicked out. Johnny's team, I don't think Johnny himself went, but Johnny's team went to the judge today and said, can we remove Eve? And the judge said, all right, Eve is not allowed to come back. And I saw that, and I just had this moment of like, oh my god. It might not be because she got 2 of his supporters removed, but it might be partially because of that. And the fact that, like, after all this bullshit I've had to go through, because I was just sitting there, I was like, oh my god, if Johnny finds out this happens, he's gonna be so embarrassed, and he's gonna like absolutely despise his fans, he's gonna hate me, this has all been destroyed. And like, to see that and just be like, it could possibly be, it's definitely because of what she did to Gina, but it could also possibly be because what she did to his fans. It was just this moment of like, wow, he knows what happened. He knows that this is wrong, and he said something, and he stood up for us, and it had consequences. And it was just like this moment of like, maybe I will be able to go back in and all of this will be resolved. And then I started getting emotional again. So yeah, it's been a crazy week. It's been weird. I don't know what's gonna happen next week at all. I'm going to go eat something now, because over the past 24 hours, all I've had is a little bit, like a couple Doritos. Because I've just been sitting in bed just on social media as everybody's been like bombarding me with love and support. So thank you very much, but I need to go eat food now. And thank you for watching this video. That's been week 1. We will have week 2. I will stay here. I still don't know about the last 2 weeks. I did book a place, but if I end up like not being able to go back in the courtroom, I don't know if I'm gonna come back the last 2 weeks, because I'm gonna go back to New York for the week off. That's been the first week of court. Hopefully next week the video will be much more focused on what's been actually happening in court with the case, and not so much like what's been happening in the hallways outside of the court. So thank you to every single person who showed me any love and support, and fuck the person who doxed me. Seriously. I will actually put the names of the 2 people who wrote the article here. They have Twitter accounts, put their ats too. You can contact them, you can send them DMs and report them for what they did. I doubt Twitter will remove anything, but like, it's not so much about getting the article taken off Twitter, it's about it getting taken off of the New York Post website, which I don't know how to report that. So you can report those people if you want to show me support at all. You don't have to. I'm not one sitting here begging for support. I'm not used to this kind of level of attention. It's very bizarre. Thank you for watching this. And if you want daily updates and stuff from me, and you want to keep up with what I'm doing, I would say go on my Twitter account and do that. You can also follow my Instagram. Both my usernames are in the description. And also my TikTok, although I don't really post much Johnny Depp related stuff on my TikTok, but you can follow that too. Alright, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Have a nice day.